Welcome to the class. This is the seventh class of the Introduction to Miracles. And today there is an interesting part of the chapter, which is the distortion of miracle impulses. And I took two lessons for that because it's like a huge part of the whole undoing. And that's why it's good to stand still and look at what is actually a distortion of the miracle impulses. What actually, what am I supposed to think about that, or what is it? I want to know what it is. And so you can say like the human behavior, the human way of thinking is an incredible distortion of miracle impulses, not to start with. So that's it is closer to you than you think. Like we're all doing it. We're all denying the miracle in some moments of the day, and that we go into the illusion of this and confirming it in our existence, thinking that it's really there, that really something happened to us. And so I'm not going to start immediately with this to elaborate on this. So I first wanted to start actually the other way around, and that is have a bit of a review of the miracle principles, because they are so essential in our miracle work. And they're so lovely to read. You know, they're just like lovely to remember. So we use them in the Miracle Healers Handbook and the other class that we did. We use them in this quite a bit too, like I think 5 or 6 classes where they all come back again. And so it's our fundament. We have to become very much acquainted with the idea of miracle principles, just to not to create like a new concept about it, but to see that it actually slowly but certainly gets into our way of being and thinking, because they are very useful in the undoing process in which you find yourself, the undoing of what you never was, and the undoing of the idea that you're separate from everything that is. So the miracle is then the confirmation of your connectedness to your brother, by, say, confirmed by God, coming together in a holy instant, coming together in a moment where you shift out of the, say, the ordinary, what is ordinary for you as a human being, and you shift into invisibility for a moment, in just a recognition of, oh my God, what I experience now is actually nothing to do with this world whatsoever, but I can still join with my brother in it. That is the amazing thing about the miracle, and that's why we use them a lot in this class. That's why you want to become like a miracle worker, in the sense that you do this for yourself, just like you are a miracle healer. Like you use this for your healing, and then knowing that to heal is to make happy. So to see that you didn't lose anything of your original configuration, that you didn't lose the connection with your creator, and that he is like loving you in every instant, and that literally nothing occurred that influenced that even a tiny bit. So that is a reassurance, it is a remembrance, it is coming to know your true identity, sinking deeply into the experience of it, letting yourself be wiped off your feet by the love that is actually available for you to experience. So that's what we train, that's what we practice, that's what we want to get really deeply in touch with. So the miracle principles are really helpful for that. So I will I will go through the first chapter, and I marked some of them that really spoke to me in this moment in relationship with the miracle distortion, miracle impulse distortion too, to keep that in mind too. So I will try to reference this too, because then you can follow where I'm at in this procedure, so to speak. So I would say just relax and sit back and let some of these just touch you and say activate you in that sense. So here's one. to start with. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. He will direct you very specifically. See, this is a reassurance. All miracles mean life. God is the giver of life. He will direct you very specifically. That's clear. Okay, so he will direct me very specifically. So he will let me know everything that I need to know. So that is really assuring. That's really assuring, and you'll in your application of this, you start to trust that more and more by seeing the accomplishments of it, seeing that it actually works. Okay, so here we go again. A miracle is a reversal of the physical order because it brings more love to the giver and the receiver. A miracle is a reversal. That is T1B10. A miracle is a reversal of the physical order because it brings more love to the giver and the receiver. See, and the reversal of the physical order is then, in the physical order, there's, if you give something, you lose it. Then it's not yours anymore. You give an object to a person, the object is not yours anymore. So with the miracle, it's different. Basically, when you offer this to your brother, you both receive more love. So that's a win-win situation, like an amazing win-win situation. Because literally the source of it all is what it inspires, and that is your source is love. So becoming even more loving, extending that love to one another in the recognition of our source, which is love, is then like, yeah, here it is. You can receive that. You can totally let that come to you. And see, this is it's between you and your brother, in recognition of the, say, the triangle that's there, like your God connection. So it's a vertical relationship. It is not a personal relationship. So it is your individual experience of it is of course your experience. So it's a subjective, singular moment of reality that you're experiencing. But it's not personal. That's also good to know. Like, this can happen to anyone at any time, and whether this person is present or not. It is not that you have to wait till the person is present for the miracle to happen, because it literally reverses the physical order. So time and space are actually not there in that moment. It is a shift of that. So that's really good to have, like, oh, okay, well, I have no idea what that is, but I'll take this in. I'll accept this for now as an given, and I will see how it continues. So these building blocks of miracles, miracle ideas, miracle principles are giving you an idea about what this is, and also it continuously confirms to you its reliability, its possibility. Like, yes, there's an opportunity. No, you don't have to worry that you cannot do it. If you ask me, I will help you to do it. You perform it through me. You can use my certainty for doing so. And that's, of course, very good to know if you start to practice this. Like, you don't have to do this by yourself. No, it is like the miracle will be a big surprise for you yourself. It's like it's a big surprise. It's always like a gift. It is not something that you do consciously. No, it's a real gift. You're open to the possibility, but you don't know if it's going to happen. It's not under conscious control. See, that is very helpful to know, just for you to come to the point where actually you are in your right mind, being completely miracle minded, basically ready for the miracle to happen. Okay, so the next part is this. Miracles are the absence of the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the lower order reality. That is why they heal. Miracles are the absence of the body. So suddenly your body seems not to be there. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the lower order reality. It's like you feel that you're going through a shift, and it has nothing to do with this place whatsoever. But you still feel totally connected with your brother and with God. Like you literally have a moment that is not in connection with this what appears to be your world. That has nothing to do with that. It has no relationship to it. So that's huge too. I had so many, so I can't find them now. Okay, so Christ, this is page 14, and it's T1B 27D. Christ inspires all miracles, which are really intercessions. They intercede for man's holiness and make them holy. They place man beyond the physical laws and raise him into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, man is perfect. So that's quite something too, isn't it? Christ inspires all miracles. So the inspiration comes from your Christ mind, which are essentially intercessions. They intercede for man's holiness and make them holy. They place man beyond the physical laws and raise them into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, you are perfect. So you're raised in the sphere of celestial order, like heavenly order. You're raised into the sphere of heavenly order. And that's look at what is being offered. Look at what it actually will mean for you. You have no idea how much value that will have for you to apply this and start to practice this. It's like that's why the invitation is there. It's like let's practice this. Let's literally take time to get acquainted with how to perform a miracle. Because, like, yes, I want to come in touch with my Christ mind. Yes, I want to have moments of healing in which I just release my ideas about what my situation was in the first place, or my bodily configuration was for a moment. Like, I love to become free of that, just for the healing of, me, everything. It's like, yes, there's nothing like the remembrance of coming into the sphere of celestial order and seeing that how you were created, like literally how you are created, that what perfection is and how that feels, and how you see your brother and everything in that light, and that you're directly communicating with your source for just a moment. See, it's like, okay, I'm trying to sell this to you because, hey, I'm selling miracles here. Anyone? Let me see, what is another? Oh yeah, here. Miracles arise, that is page 19, T1B 38. Miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind. By being one, this state of mind goes out to anyone, even without the awareness of the miracle worker himself. The impersonal nature of miracles is because atonement itself is one, uniting all creations with their creator. So miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind. By being one, this state goes out to anyone, even without the awareness of the miracle worker himself. Like, it has nothing to do even with your awareness about it. It is working that way anyway. The impersonal nature of miracles is because the atonement itself is one. So we're basically returning back to the idea of oneness. You come into an experience of oneness. The miracles that you did not that you are told not to perform have not lost their value. They are still expressions of your own state of grace, but the action aspect of the miracle should be Christ controlled because of his complete awareness of the whole plan. The impersonal nature of miracle mindedness ensures your own grace But only Christ is in a position to know where grace can be bestowed. Ah, that's wonderful. So the impersonal nature, that is really an important part of this. So there's nothing lost, even if you're told not to perform a miracle. Nothing is lost in that. It's like, it's not that, okay, well, we didn't get lucky this time. Like, there's no happiness for us in this case. Like, no, there's nothing lost. If you're told not to do it, that is just as fruitful as if you're told to do it. Like, there's literally no such idea of lack connected to it whatsoever. And that's also good to know. It's like, because, see, this takes all concerns about it, it takes it away. You don't have to be concerned with the outcome of the miracle, if something happens or not. No, if you're told to perform it, it will work perfectly. If you're told not to perform it, it will work perfectly too. It doesn't take anything away. So this is also very practical in that sense, that we get these instructions. But so the part that I want to bring in is also the impersonal part. Like, impersonal is so different than, for instance, the ego distorted impulses that always have to do with the body and are very specific. And to extrapolate that to your human existence, you know that you have certain specific, very special people in your life that are, say, of more value than others. So it lives, like your ego mind lives by differences, by comparisons, by very selective, say, by your choices, literally. You want that, but not that. And so you distinguish between all of this all the time. That's way you keep yourself busy with, basically. And we've been having lots of classes when that is recalled, so to speak, the way that you think as a human being, like not thinking in terms of totality and nothing of an impersonal nature, but very specific, very special, and that is actually then a distorted miracle impulse, because it will relate to certain bodies. You want certain bodies in your house, other bodies are not welcome. Or if there's nobody in your house, you might feel lonely. Or, all these things that we are in our thinking as a human being so much accustomed to, is basically a denial of what this is about. So to open that up for miracle impulses instead of, say, ego-related impulses that are always connected to the body and to specificity, it's like, it's very specific. Now, this is not very specific. It is impersonal. It works whether you expect a certain outcome or not, whether you see the result or not, whether you are, say, wanting to direct this in certain directions, like to certain specific persons, you'll see that not works that way. So that is really good today to take a look at that. So miracle impulses are then, when I read these principles, miracle impulses are then also of a very intimate nature, because there are sudden shifts, say, from the body awareness into a state of invisibility. So it is not that your body is completely out of the picture, but it shifts from there into invisibility. So you are here in this experience of yourself as a human being, and this is happening to you. This is a possibility to you, for you to happen. And you see that the same passion and the same intimacy that you feel within you is going to be redirected, not to the horizontal plane, but to the vertical plane. So and suddenly you feel the connectedness with your brother, and the love that you're actually experiencing is also experienced by the one that is the miracle happening to. And in relationship with the recognition that you share the same source. So that is good to see too. So there's in chapter 1b, a relationship of miracles and revelation, we went through that quite intensive. I specifically let out, see, I'm very specific too when I teach. Like, I left out a certain aspect of it, which has to do with sex impulses, and a very specific instruction for miracle workers. And because I wanted to actually connect that to the last part of the chapter, to the section C. So I'll read some of that too. Let me see. See, the interesting part to me still is that this is quite a unique part of teaching A Course in Miracles. So maybe I have to tell you more about that. Like in the book, in the FIP, like the Foundation of Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles, this what I'm going to share with you now was never part of it. It never ended up in the book. So that is, to me, totally amazing, because I love to read this, and I've seen it say, misused in a certain sense by myself, by others. I've seen the idea misused. And now here I actually read like, oh my God, it is actually in A Course in Miracles, in the original manuscripts. I can actually find it. And that is the instruction I was looking for, because I missed a part in that whole story. You know, and that is like how to look at sexual relationships, how to follow up on sexual impulses. Like you want this all to be directed in the right way. And you want to say, do everything you can in a certain sense. You want to do everything you can to be free of your limitations and of pain connected to all these activities that we do. You know, you want to be free of all of that. So if there is a device that we can use, if there is an instruction that we can follow, not really that this is a method of any kind, but it's more like, no, this all will help you to come to the remembrance of the reality behind this all. And that is what is so nice. Like, you don't have to leave anything out of your activities in a certain sense. Like, it has nothing to do with that. No, you want to be, say, informed well in how to look at this, and then see the possibilities that are actually given to place all this in an impersonal nature, instead of making persons special. That actually starts to hurt when you see through that, or when you see that changes, or when you feel imprisoned in that relationship. So it caused so much trouble, so to speak. It caused so much pain to have not the right instruction regarding these ideas that are very personal to start with. Seeing that there's a way out that is going to be the best for everyone involved. So in the instructions that we get, the information that is being transferred here is apparently we're ready to hear it. That's why I'm actually bringing this in. So I'll read this with you. It starts on page 19, T1B 40B, and it goes up to 40J. So I'll read some of that. See, I want to finish the instruction about sex, because this is an area the miracle worker must understand. Inappropriate sex drives or misdirected miracle impulses. See, it's immediately like it has to do with one another. Inappropriate sex drives or misdirected miracle impulses. So the sexual drive is actually connected to the miracle impulse. This is what I want you to see. You know, it's like, okay, it starts here right away. Sex drives, miracle impulses. They have to do with one another. We'll see what it is, but only one is directed very specifically at persons, and the other is of an impersonal nature, in which you're actually going to share and join. Inappropriate sex drives or misdirected impulses result in guilt if expressed and depression if denied. Wow. Inappropriate sex drives result in guilt if expressed and depression if denied. All right. We said before that all real pleasure comes from doing God's will. Whenever it is not done, an experience of lack results. This is because not doing the will of God is a lack in itself. Sex was intended for an instrument for physical creation to enable souls to embark on new chapters in their experience and thus improve their record. Okay, I'll leave the part of the pencil and the artist. As he made new homes for souls and guided them through the period of their own development readiness, he learned the role of the Father himself. The whole process was set up as a learning experience in gaining grace. Okay. The pleasure which is derived from sex as such is reliable only because it stems from an error which man shared. It stems from an error which man shares. Awareness of the error produces guilt. Denial of the error results in projection. Correction of the error brings release. Okay, so I'm just continuing reading just for a moment. And what I'm doing then is I will use parts of it in my expression in the last part, in the C part. But it's essential that I share this with you first. So even if you don't don't understand what this is about, it is not an obstacle in order to hear the rest of what I'm sharing with you. And you can always read this again. That's why I give the references. The only valid use of sex is procreation. It is not truly pleasurable in itself. Lead us not into temptation means do not let us deceive ourselves into believing that we can relate in peace to God or our brothers with anything external. So that is what is meant by lead us not into temptation. Do not let us deceive ourselves into believing that we can relate in peace to God or our brothers with anything external. It's not going to work. And we got used to it. We twisted that around for ourselves, as it says here. Like we used that. We literally shared that illusion together, thinking that it is actually really pleasurable. And that is, I would say, that will not be accepted by everyone immediately, is what I'm actually saying. It can take a while. So it is like, yeah, this is something that you allow to come to you because you are a miracle worker. You want to experience miracles. Like you will not experience miracles if you actually are not allowing this to teach you how to look at this. So that is in that sense is really essential to take this to heart and see that there's literally nothing taken away from you. No, actually, there's some real pleasure coming up for you. It's like this is opening the door for you to have a real pleasure, so to speak, a real moment of joining together with your brother, which is impersonal. It is not specific in that sense. It has nothing to do with, say, setting up a relationship to live together or anything like that. So no, it's free. It's lived in the moment. It is shared. It is a joining where everyone becomes happy. Like it all leads to happiness for each one involved. But you got to accept it, like you got to see it this way. You got to come to the miracle mindedness and allowing that sex drive, so to speak, to be converted into a miracle impulse. But we'll come back to that later too, because it is, you get a lot of help in that. You get a lot of help. You get instruction in the moment even. So when you feel the tendency to have sex with someone in a certain relationship, and you ask for help in that very specific moment, then you see that something can really shift. I speak from experience. Like, it really shifts, and that is so beautiful as a gift to everyone involved, because suddenly there's a joining that you would have hoped for in sex, but actually never really occurred the way it does now, like that. Like, that is given to you to use, to release fear, and to also open up for the recognition of, say, remembrance of your source together. Like, it makes you just incredibly happy. And that is basically the offering of today. And so that's what I love. See, and to bring that back to your experience, it is really like just up to you how you want to continue for yourself, but to come into the practice of basically coming home together. It's like you literally come home together. We are helping each other to return back home. You return back home is like, yeah, suddenly you come into a sphere of celestial order together. Like, you recognize each other immediately. It is just there, it's just there, and it heals. It is, yes, this is what I know to be my natural place or natural inheritance. That is why I love that. That is why, say, to get there, so to speak, is not difficult. No, it is related to your willingness and your awareness that this is a possibility. So the miracle mindedness that we're training and that we're stirring up here and activating is also very helpful to have you come into the miracle mindedness, and the invitation is there to join in the celestial order in the moment that you give that. You give this, it also is connected to action. It is connected to, say, they say it in the Vortex too. It's like, we have active workers. So there's an action connected to it. Not that you do that much, but you actively are open to receive it. You actually ask for, this is the moment, and guide me through it. Show me how to do this. See, this is action of you. Not that you have to do it and then perform the whole thing. No, but it is like, no, you have to ask. You want to follow guidance. You're completely alert to let that happen, because your heart is yearning for the remembrance of home. And that is what this is. It's the remember, your yearning. You have this feeling coming up many times. Everyone has this feeling, like a feeling of wanting to go home, or really coming back home again. Who doesn't have that? No, it's not always in the front of your forehead, so to speak. It's not always in your awareness, but it is always there. It's always looking for, yes, I want to come home. Yes, oh my God, to be home, that would be so nice. Whatever that is, I don't even know exactly what it is, but I would love to be there. So the miracles are all on the way, so to speak, on the way to returning home into your celestial perfection. And that is also, see, you also feel maybe feelings of nostalgia or whatever your feelings are, but there's something really deeply, really deeply connected to the idea of returning home. So that is what you have to keep in mind. So feel that yearning. That's, take time to feel that yearning. Is it really that I want to go home? So what am I actually looking for here? Am I really relating to the external? Looking for what? What am I looking for? Why is that for? What am I perpetuating in my daily life? What am I actually a bit like addicted to? Or what has become such a habit for me that I don't even know if I can step out of it? all this is coming to you, say a possibility to come into your awareness that none of that is really what you want, but you want absolutely to come home. Like if you had a choice, you would immediately do it. Well, see that you have a choice. It is just that you cannot keep the others too. Like you cannot hold on to everything and then returning home thinking that there's a way that you can just do whatever you want. It's like, no, it's, or do whatever comes to mind. No, it takes training and it takes practice. And it's also being alert and say an active worker. You got to keep your purpose focused on your purpose. Otherwise, you miss it. You're already in a detour. You know, you're already sliding off into something. And we all know this. Like you do this on a daily basis. You slide off on a daily basis. So and that's okay. It's not bad. It is just, hey, here's an opportunity to return. I want to spend time staying with this for a moment for myself to really come into the feeling of, yes, I want to return home. What am I looking for in the world? Oh my God, look at what I'm doing. It's amazing. Like, well, that wasn't necessary. Oh my God, that wasn't necessary either. You know, your list of things that you don't have to do anymore become bigger and bigger. And it's finished. I don't need to do that. I don't feel like doing that. So it's, but spending time with yourself or spending time focusing together on returning home to get the hell out of here, so to speak, and also to let go of the attachments that are holding you here by your choice, is something to become completely aware of and actively letting go of it. So that's why I love that, for instance, the 20-minute book with the review of the first 50 lessons. It's continuously letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, no, letting go, letting go, letting go. You know, it's like there's so many lessons connected to the idea of letting go. And that's very helpful. Your mind is in its original state completely empty. Like, you don't need it for thinking, that's for sure. It doesn't bring you any good. You know it. You know, it's like, yeah, you can't keep trying, sure, absolutely. So that was what I said, like, your mind is it's sliding off, just a tiny little bit. So you let it be tweaked again into alignment. Oh, it feels so much better. Oh, I'm so happy that I don't have to do this. I really thought I had to. And no, I don't have to do that. So this is also in a relationship with your brother. You think that you're under some kind of social law, like I have to do this for my family, I have to do that and that and that, and I have to behave a certain way, otherwise, they can't rely on me anymore. And you'll see that all these laws are man-made; they are made up. So what happens if you start to let go of those ideas and come into, well, what am I guided to do today? What miracles am I supposed to perform? You'll see that everything starts to change. And what happens then for you is, in the beginning, is like, oh my God, I actually feel fear of letting that go. My mind is occupied with that idea that I'm not participating anymore in the way that I did before. So this is new for me. I actually passed through this fear um, into a new era for myself, like a new place for myself where I can be free of fear, but if I will have to move through it and let go of my ideas that keep me in this bind. So that's practice. You know, you go through stuff in this procedure, so to speak. You go through stuff. Yeah, it's a release of fear. Yeah, you valued something that has no value. So that feels already really weird and you didn't really get accustomed to it. And now you're going to let go of it. Okay, so yeah, as soon as you can let go of it, it is no problem. But the holding on can be pretty painful. So now we can start reading. That's what we're going to do now from chapter 1. Section C, I'll put this in